Here are the 10 biggest lies an injured worker faces when he's hurt on the job in Pennsylvania. 1. The accident was totally her fault, and you can't collect a dime. 2. You've not been working long enough for the company, so you don't qualify for workers' compensation. 3. The company doctor, he says you're okay. You can go back to work. Number 4. Just sign this form. It's just a receipt for the money you received. It won't affect your benefits at all. 5. You don't need a lawyer. The company will take good care of you. 6. Workers' compensation is not rocket science. You can do this on your own. 7. Your overtime wages don't count when it comes to calculating your benefit. 8. Sure, you can see your own doctor. We just wanted to send you to our doctor for a short period of time, and we'll just send a nurse along just so nothing goes wrong. 9. Our doctor will take good care of you. 10. Guess what? Your injury didn't happen at work. You must have hurt yourself somewhere else. These are the 10 biggest lies that we constantly face as workers' compensation lawyers. Let me just play with a couple of these lies and show you how they can hurt your claim. Somebody tells you that you haven't been at work long enough. Well, this sounds logical. This makes some sense, except for the fact that that's not the law. The law is that if you're on the job on the first minute and you're hurt, you're covered by workers' compensation. As long as you're furthering your employer's business, or you're on your employer's premises, or you're acting in the scope of your employment, you're covered by workers' compensation. Another big lie, your overtime wages don't count. Well, sure, your employer doesn't want the overtime wages to count. Why? Because he probably hasn't reported them to the insurance company. So he's not going to report them now. So your benefits are based on 40 hours straight time, and you work 60 hours a week. That may make the difference of $400 or $500 in your average weekly wage. Now, why isn't the employer reporting this? It's because his premium, his insurance premium, is based upon the wages that are paid. So he doesn't report it to the insurance company. Here's another big lie. Our doctor will take good care of you. Well, that's probably the biggest one, because today there's so much at stake in workers' compensation. The reason why the employer tries to keep you going to their doctor is so that they control your claim, and that you have no medical evidence backing you up when you say, well, no, I can't go back to work, when the insurance doctor has said you can. What you have to realize is that the insurance companies and the employers, if they're self-insured, have bought medical care wholesale, more or less by the minute. And the doctor, he may sound good, or the nurse that's the so-called nurse that's with you may sound good, but no. They're being paid by the insurance company, so they're on their side. And this amounts to, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars and even more per year to these treating physicians. You're getting what you paid for, essentially, and what you need to know is in Pennsylvania, unless certain prerequisites are followed by the insurance company or your employer, they have no right to control. They have no right to control your medical care. If they haven't accepted the claim, they have no right to control your medical care, but they'll never tell you that. What they're supposed to do is give you a list of doctors at the time you're hired and then at the time you're hurt. Twice they're supposed to give you these lists. And if they don't give you the list, they forfeit the right to control your medical care. And you'd be surprised how important it is to have an independent doctor, one who really cares for you on your side. There's another big lie, and that's the idea of signing something without consulting a lawyer first. This is a big mistake, because unfortunately, the document they like you to sign is what's called a final receipt. It's not a receipt. It's called a final receipt, but it's a release, and it terminates your benefits. Yes, it can be undone, Experienced lawyers know how to do it, but it takes a long time to undo it. There's a heavy burden that you have to show, and you're better off not signing anything. In fact, when somebody calls us and they've engaged us, we tell them two things. Number one, don't sign anything. Number two, only talk with us, no one else. And number three is, when in doubt, see rule number 1 and number 2.